Want to know how elite tax advisors win the due diligence game to satisfy ultra-high net worth clients who expect the very best? Welcome to the Due Diligence Project podcast, where you get a chance to learn from the elite CPAs, virtual family office professionals, and tax specialists who are doing just that. We'll uncover their insider secrets on how they are dominating their competition, vetting new ideas, and supercharging their due diligence process to deliver extraordinary results. Bringing his 25 plus years of experience with top tax professionals across the country, please welcome your host, Alex Sunkin.
Good day and welcome to the Due Diligence Project podcast. We are so excited to introduce today's guest, Mike Jesowshek, who's an elite virtual family office and elite CPA serving high net worth individuals, high net worth business owners all around the country. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Alex, doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
We're excited to have you, and let's get right into it. Our audience wants to know, can you describe what you do? The people you serve, the kind of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for help.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started our firm 7 years ago, and the idea behind it was to bring just a modern approach to an ancient industry. And so I came from owning a business, and I always struggled to find that accountant that was just very modern and could make adjustments and really kind of help our business grow without having to have my involvement in it. And so with that struggle is kind of what born our accounting firm and said, we want to change that. I want to make this a modern kind of new way to do accounting. And so that's how our firm started about 7 years ago. And as far as the type of clients that we serve, we serve mostly service-based industries. So we have a few specific niches that we go after, which is law firms, fitness studios, and just general professional services. So marketing companies, digital agencies, people like that. And our main goal is, how can we help people reduce stress in the accounting and bookkeeping side of their business, while also help them save on taxes and bring ideas to the table that they've maybe never experienced before, and do it in a way that helps them not be so much inside their business, but growing their business and us coming along with them in that growth. And so I think that that's a big thing when our firm and how we continue to grow is saying, we want to bring a new way to do accounting. We're not that old school accountant that you see once a year. This is going to be a new way, a new birth of how accounting is done with small business owners.
I mean, it's so cool, Mike. We're going to get into some of the exciting results that you've achieved with some of your clients who have very, very large incomes, and you were able to reduce their incomes by over 60% over the last few years. And we're talking multi-million-dollar income, 8-figure type adjusted gross income. And you don't look like you're 70 years old and balding like me and things like that. You're a relatively young guy. How are you able to deliver such incredible performance and deliver such unique results where the rest of the traditional CPAs really don't seem to be able to do anything like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really came down to, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. So I started my first business at the age of 15. I've bought into businesses, I've sold businesses, I've had partners, I've been alone, I've seen massive success and massive failures. And so that experience and seeing different cycles of a business has helped me take that experience and implement that in the ideas of my clients. And so along that way, I take my experiences, but I also know that I'm never the smartest man in the room. And so my goal is, how can I partner with people that are smarter than me, that can bring me ideas to the table that help me implement them with our clients? And so when we're talking about high-end tax strategies and implementing these to clients that are in high net worth, that's what we lean on. We lean on partners that are smarter than us, but that we can still do our job on our end to service our clients by analyzing these different items and working with these partners and doing our due diligence along with our clients. So it's not just something that we're doing alone. It's something that we're doing with our clients, specific to our clients.
I love it. I want to get into how you do due diligence in a couple of minutes here. But before we get into that, what do you think are one or two of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to thinking about a CPA or a VFO from the client's perspective?
The biggest one we see is, I see you once a year. So I'm going to get my tax return done by you, and I'll see you again next year. And when we're talking to clients, we try to flip that around and say, of course, we do tax prep and filing. That's not our focus. Our focus is how can we work with you throughout the year on a regular basis to maximize tax saving potential.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the year, there's not a whole ton. There's some strategies out there when you come to us in March and need some tax strategies done. But the majority of the tax strategies need to be done throughout the year on an ongoing basis. And it's not just a once a year during tax time. So the biggest misconception we have when working with a CPA or see clients face is this isn't just a once a year type relationship. This is an ongoing relationship where we're working with you, formalizing plans to help maximize business growth, tax savings, whatever it might be. It's an ongoing relationship and not just a once a year engagement.
So this is really interesting. So what I'm hearing you say is your position is that clients really aren't participating in their tax planning as much as they could be, maybe because they don't know the capabilities of their virtual family office or their elite CPA. And if they really were to, because we're talking about very affluent business owners that have very successful businesses, large revenues, large income, large taxes. These are not dumb people. But their lack of what you're saying is their lack of awareness of what a virtual family office can do for them makes them not really invest much time in that relationship, and so their results are maybe not as good with some traditional firms. Is that where you're kind of getting at?
Exactly, and it's not their fault because that's how typically accounting is done. That's how people look as accountants. They prepare and file taxes, and then we see them again next year for tax prep. So it's not their fault that they're not seeing this because that's pretty typical when it comes to that. But that's exactly right. People aren't realizing the potential, and accountants might not be making it obvious where they can help, or they don't want to. It costs work to do that and takes time, and it might be something that they might not want to invest in.
I mean, you're making a great point, and the results, we see the results being broadcast to us by the media, sharing with us, the top Fortune 500 companies, which is really interesting. 91 of them, of the Fortune 500 biggest, most successful, highest revenue, highest income companies in the world, 91 of them did not pay tax last year. Mm-hmm. So less than 20% of the tax planning teams, one can assume really know what they're doing. And the other 82% of the top tax planning teams for Fortune 500 companies, where their clients are paying all sorts of percentages in tax, they may not have the same resources or the same systems in place as those 91. And so, one thing that you're alluding to is those 91 companies may be investing more in their tax planning with their tax planning teams, more time to figure out ways to create these unique results, where the other 82% are just getting very, very average results.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, when you're talking about tax strategies, a lot of it comes from, oh, my friend did this, so I'm going to implement that. And the problem with that is that you're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing one guy's company to your company, and it's much different. And so that's where that accountant needs to come in to be able to say, I'm going to put the time and effort in to understand your business, your situation, where you want to go. And then I'm going to find due diligence and find the path to maximize the results for you.
I am excited to talk about how you do your due diligence. Before we get into that, what do you think the biggest challenge your clients are facing?
It's really saving taxes. So paying too much in taxes, as well as letting their business consume them instead of them being able to spend time on growing their business. So it's a strong combination of them, and they're often combined together. But some of the clients that come to us that are looking for help. Their biggest challenge is I'm getting this tax bill and I'm not understanding why I'm paying so much in taxes. They hear stories like you mentioned, the big Fortune 500 companies making billions of dollars and paying no taxes, and they're this small business making a couple $1 million and they're paying a ton of taxes. And so they're not understanding that. And then again, it's just that their business is consuming them. They're unable to break free from their business to grow it, which is causing their business to stay flat or not see that massive growth and potential that they do have.
Now you're an elite CPA, but you're also an elite VFO, virtual family office. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So, what that means is basically our goal is to take high net worth individuals and be kind of their quarterback. So that person is going to drive them, look at strategies. We're going to not be in a silo. And so I always tell us when we're talking to clients, we want to work with your financial advisor. We want to work with your lawyer. We don't want you to talk to us, have a conversation with us, have a different conversation with your financial advisor, and have a different conversation with your lawyer. And we're all telling you different things, and you're unable to understand which direction to go, who to trust, who not to trust, and which is the right direction. And so that's where our goal is to come in and say, we're going to be the one that's going to be driving you. We understand every in and out about not only your business, but your personal life. And we're going to work directly with these financial advisors, with your lawyers, to provide the output that you're looking for. So it's not just working in silos, which a lot of people, when you're working with professionals, a lot of times they have big egos. They don't want to work with other professionals because they feel like you're trying to pitch them this, or they're trying to pitch them something and you're going to go against it. And we kind of spin the table and say, we're not competition. Even with other accounts, we're not competition. We're just trying to provide the best results for our client. And let's work together to do that and make it as easy as possible for them to see those results without having to engulf them in a bunch of information that might not make sense to them or might be convoluted with having so many different point of views on it coming from different angles.
Very cool. Now you're not, when you work with your clients, other advisors, attorneys, things like that, you usually take the lead role because of your ability to do due diligence, strategic due diligence, and bringing unique ideas to the table, which allowed you to kind of create this amazing result for one of your clients with an 8-figure adjusted gross income. You're able to reduce that, by over 60%, meaning you reduced his tax by 60%. How do you do due diligence? How do you find resources? How are you able to create these types of results?
Yeah. So really, again, it's partnering with people that are smarter than me, finding people that can specialize and know the insides and outs of these types of strategies, bring them to the table, give us a nice overview of what that strategy is about. And then we can look at it with our client and say, okay, based on your scenario, what one of these strategies is right? So there's tons of tax strategies out there. But it doesn't make sense. All those strategies don't make sense for every single client in every specific scenario. And so our due diligence is understanding our clients' specific needs, not only their current needs, where they're looking to go, what their future looks like, and diving deep into that and then pairing them with something that makes sense based on the information that we have, as well as the research that we're doing along those strategies to make sure it's a good fit for them in their specific scenario and in their business.
Mike, a lot of people talk about that, but your firm actually does it, because like I said, there's a lot of talk in boardrooms. There's a lot of fancy crystal glasses and really water and juices and teas that come out. And at the end of the day, we know that 91 of the Fortune 500 companies did not pay taxes and the other, 409 did. So, a lot of CPA firms are talking about what you're doing, but you're actually doing it. So how is it that you're able to find these resources and where these other firms are not able to find them? How are you, and then how do you do due diligence on them prior to bringing their solutions to the table and creating these amazing results? Let's get into that difference between you and the rest, because there's clearly differences.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we're eager to learn. We're eager to put in the time to learn these different strategies. And we're not just going to sit back and do the easy route, because we know the easy route isn't going to necessarily bring the best results to our client. And so we're eager to learn. We know that we don't know everything. And so I have an ego enough that says I'm willing to admit that. And by doing that, I take my shortcomings and the things that I can't know everything about, and I pair myself with people that can do that. I pair myself with.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting that you're talking about, you're talking about curiosity, you're talking about confidence, and doing it in a way where your ego doesn't get all excited and say, wow, I'm the greatest in the world. I don't need to be curious anymore. I'm the best in the world. I'm done learning. So there's this balance. What I'm hearing you say is there's a balance between confidence, ego, and curiosity. And you've been able to manage those three structures inside of yourself to create this balance where you continue to be curious. The curiosity helps you find strategic relationships. You do due diligence on those relationships with the help of the due diligence project and the community. And as you whittle down, all of a sudden your confidence goes up, but not so high as to flare up your ego to shut everything off and make you feel like you know everything, which is not a great thing for your clients. I think your clients really appreciate your curiosity, because if you weren't curious, you would probably stop learning a long time ago. And that's not a benefit to you, your clients, your family, and then the people you serve. I mean, is that what I'm hearing you talk about here?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the idea behind if you're not being curious and not willing to learn,
Mm.
you're just going to get stuck in the things that everybody else is doing. And the problem with that is that there's so much potential that your clients are missing out on. And that also is part of the fact of being willing to take a risk and being willing to learn, and it's difficult because clients know they can read the internet, they can do Google searches for tax strategies. So they know the main ones that are out there. And that's what all the accountants are pushing.
Mm.
But they're not digging deeper. They're not willing to learn because they know it's going to take time. They're going to have to educate their client on a strategy that is not widely known to everybody. And so that takes time, energy, and that's where we do things different. And being that, as you mentioned, being curious helps us dig into that and say, okay, we're willing to take that risk up front. What can we do to help educate our clients while also educating us and being able to provide that tax saving strategy to them?
Cool. Let's talk about a little your participation in the due diligence project. What does that mean to you? How are you using that to differentiate from some of the big firms out there that are not participating in it? And let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we partnered with you guys in that main reason being is that you have access to resources that are no specific strategies. Again, your resources don't say we're the expert of all tax saving strategies. They also specialize in items that are specific to them so they can be experts in that area. And that allows us to feel confident working with you to say, yeah, these guys are specialists. They have vetted it. We have a group of other people that are just like us that are eager to bring tax savings, to have a new shift on the way that we're doing tax planning with our clients. And we're interested in expanding that with a great network of people that are proactive instead of just sitting back and doing the same old strategies and never looking into new items that can bring tax savings into it. So our relationship with the due diligence projects has just been incredible and allows us to bring strategies to clients that they've never even heard of, that they might have been making a ton of money for a long period of time. And we might be the first people introducing it to them just because we're willing to take that risk to educate them.
Well, I really appreciate that. Look, the Due Diligence Project would not exist without you. The Due Diligence Project is a living, breathing, 24/7, 365 living entity that's really comprised of elite CPAs and virtual family offices and family office leaders and the specialists, the top tax attorneys and specialists around the world who all work together, who are all independent. And so we count on you, Mike. I'm not, my due diligence is really, my confidence in the due diligence that happens inside the Due Diligence Project is really based on the quality of elite CPA firms that we have in our community. And we now are over 200 strong. We have former Deloitte, former KPMG, former Price Waterhouse, Big Four, Big Five, Big Six, elite tax professionals, tax partners from those firms joining the Due Diligence Project. We have people like you who've come from other firms, but together, because you're all independent, it's really important when we bring a new strategy. I want your independent feedback. I want all the independent feedback of every one of our CPAs, because together we can really aggregate that. And we're not talking about doing due diligence on future projections of investments, right, Mike? We're doing due diligence on what is the risk of an audit? What's going to happen in the audit? Is there risk of tax court? Nobody wants tax court. Nobody wants audit. What is the return for the client in terms of the ROI, and what is the risk? And who is calculating all this? Not financial advisors or really attorneys. It's really CPAs who are trying to get their arms around and heads around strategies that are being presented by the most elite specialists and elite tax attorneys in the country and the world. And we aggregate this ROI based on the feedback of our accountants and elite CPAs and virtual family offices. So you play an amazingly important role in this. And every time we do a case, like the few that we did in the last year, there's third-party CPAs, there's third-party attorneys that come in, and what are they going to do, Mike? They're going to do their own independent due diligence. What are we going to do? We're going to capture those notes, capture their feedback, capture their questions, and add them to our due diligence pile of cliff notes that we share with you and all of our other members. This is really what the Due Diligence Project does. And the fact that you sitting in your office in Wisconsin can take those resources and help a client who had a $12 million adjusted gross income in California and reduce his taxes by 60%. This is really what the virtual family office, supercharged by the Due Diligence Project and Best in Class Peer, this is what it's designed to produce, these types of amazing results. And before technology, before this world, how are we doing stuff? We're doing stuff the traditional way. And most of the firms are still doing things the traditional way. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we see the results. So, talk to me about your ability now in the future to access this incredible set of paintbrushes and paints and be able to paint any picture that your client wants in terms of, here's their perfect world. Mike, help me get to my perfect world. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that's part of our due diligence is getting a deeper understanding of where our clients want to go. So are they looking to sell in 5 years or 10 years? Are they looking to maybe pass this on to other family members? All of that plays a different role into it. And so this due diligence is built on clients' needs and expectations. We're not forcing anybody into any area. We're not saying this is the only strategy that's meant for you. You have to do this. This is a cumulative based on their exact needs and how we can deliver that to them. And so we have clients come to us all the time that we're introducing to the due diligence project and saying, this client's got a unique situation. This strategy might be good for them, but what other strategies are out there and available for them? And it's bringing that all into one picture and saying, here are the options that are available to us. And the thing that you mentioned too is analyzing that risk and knowing what that risk might be for an audit or tax court. That's big too. We have some clients that say, I want zero risk. Other clients say, I'm willing to be on the pretty risky scale. And so that plays another role into it. How can we provide them with the information that explains what that risk is, if there is any risk? And, making sure that we pair that with the ideal client as well.
Mike, this has been great. I think our audience has really gotten a taste and an understanding of who you are, what makes you work, what makes you so unique in the marketplace. And, I think your clients are super lucky to have you. It's been great having you on our podcast, and we look forward to having you on again. Congratulations on all your success, and congratulations to all your clients that are enjoying the fruits of all the hard work that you're doing, your curiosity, your tenacity, your focus. And I think what came out in this interview is your real passion for making a difference in the lives of these business owners. And we're all business owners. We all have a special place in our heart for business owners. It's very challenging to be one out there these days. And so if you can help them to reduce their tax, reduce their costs, help them get to their perfect world of what they're looking to accomplish with all the sacrifice and all that hard work, you're really making a difference in those communities on a multi-generational basis. So we're really excited about this interview. We're really excited to have you on our podcast. And listen, have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Alex, for having me. And I appreciate all that you guys are doing here. It really is a game changer for these high net worth individuals. So I appreciate the resources you're bringing to us.
That's all for this episode of the Due Diligence Project podcast. Be sure to visit duediligenceproject.com to access the resources we have available for qualified CPAs and family office leaders. Our mission at the Due Diligence Project is to help you deliver more significance and value to your very best clients while shifting your traditional practice into the firm of the future.